This podcast contains adult language, descriptions of violence, sexual references, and other possibly offensive themes. Listener discretion is advised.
Previously on Back to the Story.
I'll lead the way to the shrine. I think I can remember.
You just now realize for the past 15 minutes or so, you haven't heard any birds chirping, any squirrels moving, bugs. You haven't heard anything. It doesn't have dark black fur, but has almost grayish white fur. Its head isn't of a wolf, but it's wide and blocky skull of a bear. You take 26 points of piercing damage. That's into your stomach. You look down as there's an arrow pushed all the way towards just a small bit of black feather.
Fuck.
Kalvyn.
First point, do these lycanthrope, when they die, do they revert back to their non-wolfy forms?
Looking at the other ones do. You see the werewolves, when they die, that's a good point. They begin to revert back to their humanoid forms with the same wounds intact. The werebear creature, when it died, it did not revert back. And you notice some of the wounds are beginning to burn with this purplish fire. It's almost streaming off like smoke energy from its wounds. And it seems to be getting brighter and brighter.
That's weird. I would like to get up to Ezekiel and dump 15 points of lay on hands. Heal him for 15. I got you, buddy. And yeah, I guess that's it. I don't really have a bonus. I'll shove him to the... No, that's all.
So, Kalvyn, you march up, laying on hands on Ezekiel, healing some of his wounds. As Ezekiel, as he's doing this, you see over Kalvyn's shoulder the body of the werebear. The energy is growing and growing, getting brighter and brighter as you hear as the form, all at once, it seems as if the flesh and the fur and the bone and everything that constituted this creature immediately turns into purple, fiery energy that explodes. I need Ball, Kalvyn, and Ezekiel to make dexterity saving throws.
I'm super good at those. Oh, I was good at that. 18.
And Ball is also very good at that with a 1.
And Kalvyn?
I also rolled a 1.
So the explosion burst out, hitting Ball and Kalvyn. 10 radiant damage burns into your flesh as this form is evaporated to nothing.
Can I use my shield master feat to take half damage using my shield?
You can. So you start to feel the burn and quickly spin around with your shield, blocking some of that energy as it wraps around, blocking some of that energy. And Ezekiel, who's behind you, is able to sort of catch that draft of that blocking. Now, Ezekiel, you take 5 as you are successfully able to dodge some of that radiant soul fire. The body is no more. There's a bit of dust, black, on the ground, a singed mark in the earth, but nothing else. Ellory?
Okay, so first I'm going to run up near Ezekiel. I think I still have 5 more feet of movement after that. If I take the tree that I kind of climb over into consideration.
So the tree is difficult terrain, unless you want to try to hop over it, in which case you can make an athletics check to try to mitigate that.
Yeah, I don't think it matters that much right now. My focus is trying again to get a better pinpoint on where that arrow was, or where those arrows have been coming from.
You can make a perception or investigation check.
Okay. That's not great. That's 13.
For which one?
For perception.
Listening, I mean, you hear nothing. Just the clank of the armor of your comrades. Even the burning ahead, you can't really hear anymore. There's a wind that kind of rustles some leaves, but beyond that, nothing.
And then I'm going to say to Ezekiel, do you think we can face this thing? We can't even see it. And that's my turn.
Okay, Amsen.
All right. So I'm going to, moving 30 feet, kind of north-northwest towards another tree and getting behind that. And seeing the rest of my party, I'm just going to yell in their, I'm just going to call out in their general direction. Smaller targets are harder to hit. Get down. And For my action, bonus action, how is Ezekiel looking for health?
I'm at half, but I could not take another arrow like I did before.
Okay, what about Kalvyn?
If I get hit by one of those arrows, I'll actually doing better. I'm doing significantly better since Vesper hit me.
Okay. Yeah, why not? I'll do 3rd level healing word on Ezekiel for 9 healing.
Beautiful, thank you.
Yep. And that'll be my turn.
Well, looking back at the party, I'll say, "Where is it?" And then I'll step over this log. Since I don't see anything when I step into the open, I'm going to take the dodge action and with my sword just kind of like hold it as if I'm ready to like, lightsaber block an arrow or something.
Parry a strike.
Yeah. And then with my remaining 10 feet of movement, I'll just kind of move forward into the open. With my bonus action, I'd like to cast or use my Mantle of Flame ability and just kind of burst into flame. Hopefully that makes me the most noticeable target, so to speak. And I'll end my turn.
Yes, a ball stepping forward with weapon in parry position suddenly bursts into flames, literally on fire, resembling now more like the stories of fire giants, Amsen, that you've heard and others have heard tale of, stepping forth a beacon in this forest. Ezekiel, the arrow is kind of in your upper abdomen, sticking through part of the armor and into you. It came from northwest. I mean, vaguely, just from where it stuck into you.
Okay, that should be a circle, but with my bonus action, I'm going to bring up a healing spirit in that area. It looks like a bunch of little squirrels. And so I'm going to quickly move 1, 2, 3, get to, I don't know if I can stand on that space. How big is this rock?
The rock is maybe 6 feet in the very center, the highest point, but great. It's kind of 3 or 4 feet in others.
Use my action to do another perception check. To try and find the creature.
Okay.
22.
You hear a rustling through the wind. You hear twigs snap sort of vaguely in the northwest direction. No longer to the north, in the northwest direction.
Okay.
But even then, it's not precise.
All right. Then I'm just going to crouch behind the rock and roll that healing. And I'll just say, anyone can run through, just it'll make you feel better.
As you see these spectral squirrels who kind of arrange themselves in a circle and sort of do a strange dance, spinning. At which point, Amsen, you see something shift. Ellory, you can see it in the great distance. You see something shift from behind this tree, moving over to the right, over here. Amsen, you're the closest to it. You see something surprisingly small. At first you think it's a bobcat. You see it's maybe only about 3.5 feet tall, furred, holding a bow in its left hand with 2 ears that come up with black tufts at the top of them and a mane of fiery red hair as it knocks silently, an arrow drawing back, licking its lips as if tasting the prey. That is a dirty 20 to hit you, Ezekiel.
Even behind cover?
It used an ability to use its feral instincts to get advantage on attack straight roll.
That's fair. Yeah.
As you look over and seeing a figure, you go to try to duck behind the tree and rock, but it's too late as you see something darting across the sky. You feel a mark on your chest before it hits. 3 diagonal marks that hit. And as it drives in, you take 26 points of damage as it strikes into that same spot where you feel and look down, you see purplish 3 claw marks, the mark of Duma, hexing you, marking you as prey. Immediately tastes of the prey ability as immediately another arrow is flying through. And that is a 25 to hit.
Yeah, that hits.
Not nearly as much though, because of sneak attack is only once per round.
Yeah, well, she didn't have to do much at this point.
11 piercing damage. As the first arrow hits, and Ezekiel's falling back, his head reeling as another one hits in the same spot. As Ezekiel falls back, landing on the ground, and the creature begins to dart north. That will bring us up to Vesper.
Okay, I've lost my Ezekiel. Great. I'm going to healing word him. Yeah, fuck it, at second level. So that would be 12 healing to you.
Ooh, okay.
And then I'm going to, yeah, whatever, fuck it. I'll hang out there and then I'll kind of duck behind Ball. This is my last 5 feet.
Okay. And Meli?
I'm going to move up next to Vesper. And I'm going to hold a spell for if I can see the thing that's shooting arrows.
Okay, what spell are you holding?
Ray of Frost.
Okay, holding this icicle in your hands. Kalvyn.
I will run up to Zeke and slap the rest of my lay on hands for another 10 points and kind of give him a shake as I grip his shoulder and be like, do we want to stay and try to fight this thing? It's just going to keep picking us off.
I mean, I'm fine with calling it a day. It's if that thing's going to chase us and still pick us off.
Being beside them, I think Ball's going to interject and say, we need to move faster, or it will.
So Kalvyn doing your laying on hands, I believe. Ellory?
So I saw where you pinged on the map, where I saw this thing moving. Can I still see it? I don't see it on the map now.
From where you are, you probably cannot see it. It's also, there's bushes, so some of you may be able to see it on the map, but because of its height, it's got cover. So you have an idea of where it is. So for those of you that can see it on the map, but it's currently, its height puts it below the height of the bushes.
I'm going to shift, but I did see that it was moving away from that second tree. So what I'm going to do is cast Fireball beyond the tree in the direction that it seemed to be moving.
Okay.
And it has to make a dexterity save.
I'm going to pull up Fireball here. Checking out the range. I believe you have
it's 150.
150. Okay, so yeah, you would be able to hit that. Oh yeah. So yeah, dex save. And so that is a 22 total.
Okay, so it'll take half damage. So that's... Gotta do some math now. So 29 was the full damage. Okay. And it'll take half.
Okay. So, guessing, you throw a tiny bead of an ender that flies through the air, landing beyond where you can no longer see the ember. And then there's an explosion of flames burning some of those bushes and catching the boughs of the nearby tree on fire.
And then I'm just going to move back again towards the rest of the group around this bush.
So, Amsen?
Okay. I'm going to move behind the next tree up 30 feet, and I can kind of see Ezekiel. I'm going to give another first level healing word. 5. Okay, for my action, I'm going to cast Minor Illusion as a cantrip, and about 20 feet out from behind the tree, I would like to make an image that looks like Ellory, since the image that I can make is no larger than a 5-foot cube.
Okay. So healing Ezekiel still on his back, an image of Ellory comes forth, standing there in the open. And that will bring us to Ball, I believe.
All right. So being a giant ball of flame, I'd like to somehow jump over the bushes in front of me so that I don't set them on fire. And I'm expecting most likely to use my action to keep running here. So I would have a total of 50 feet of movement.
Okay. Make an athletics check.
Natural 20.
Oh yeah, you're easily able to move forth, jumping easily, gliding over them, so you're not setting them on fire, landing. You keep running. Doosh, doosh, doosh. You do leave footprints of flames upon the ground, but haven't set bushes or trees up on fire yet. And is that your turn?
Yeah, that's the end of my turn.
Okay. As this burning, flaming tornado that is Ball leaps over, slamming into the forest, stomping forth. Ezekiel, you're on your back. What do you do?
All right. I'm going to look over And I can sort of see the bushes where I know she's been at, so I'm going to cast Entangle in that cube.
Which is, I believe, a deck save.
Strength.
Strength. Good call, then. That's a 10.
Failed. Restraint.
That's a 10. Okay. All right. So let's pull up, I guess, so we can get the specifics. But as you kind of stand up, guessing in that direction, you kind of raise your hand up, and with your hand, vines and roots raise up from the ground, grasping at anything moving nearby. You hear the quiet snorts of something struggling against it. Anything else for you, Ezekiel?
I'm going to take my movement. I think I can, squeeze there, and then I'm just going to stand.
Okay.
Or actually, no, I'm going to stay prone. Because fuck it, I don't want
staying on the ground. Okay, staying on the ground. And that will bring us up to the top. Let's see. So, it's going to use its... That is tough. Okay, it's going to try to use its action to break it. No, it struggles. Unable to move. So that will bring us up to Vesper. I thought it was going to get away, but we'll keep going since Ezekiel has entangled it.
I'm going to dash, and I think I can get all the way up to here. And I have a fairly clear sight of her now, right?
Yeah, and you can see she's low to the ground. You can hear a few twigs and and vines snapping from trying to escape, but not able to break all of them. As you see this were-lynx type creature with a fiery red mane struggling against the roots.
I can't do anything yet because I have a bonus action, so that's my turn, but I've got eyes on her now.
Okay, that will bring us up to Meli.
I'm gonna see Vesper run and just follow after her, so I'll dash as well.
Okay, so dashing in that way. Kalvyn, that brings us up to you.
I guess we're following suit. I run up to these bushes, still a ways away from the thing.
Okay, and that will bring us down to Ellory.
To start, I'm going to run up to about here, run up a little bit further up behind where Vesper and Meli are.
Okay, so as you're kind of sprinting northwest through this forest, trying to get eyes onto the struggling creature, Amsen.
Okay, so coming out from behind the tree, 5, 10, 30. Oh, I can just barely see her. Look at that. Awesome. Directly within range. So exactly on that area where that entangle is, I would like to cast Fairy Fire. And she is disadvantaged because she's still restrained.
So that is a natural 9. So she makes total 19.
Oh.
So she...
That saves.
So the fairy fire drops down as she's struggling, trying to break her way out of these thorns and roots and vines. And the fairy fire comes down, and she moves and shifts under a root, shifting around, unable to really move from her location, but move around enough to dodge most of the glittery purple flames.
Okay, cool. Since I don't have any bonus action stuff left, that's my turn.
Okay, Ball.
Okay, so if I were to use my action to run, I'd like to kind of run and jump, and that'd be 50 feet of move to land here.
Yeah, if you dash, you should be able to get there, leaping into that area.
Perfect. So hopefully when I get here, can I see it?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Okay. I'm going to use a bonus, or use my sorcery points to bonus action allow me to cast a cantrip.
Okay. Struggling creature.
And I'm going to cast Booming Blade. And do so with advantage because it's restrained for a 21.
And that'll hit.
Okay, so that's 10 slashing, 3 thunder damage, and then I'm going to put a level 2 smite into her for 10 radiant.
Okay. She tries to dodge the attack. Not able to do so fully, but is able to prevent you from hitting her neck. And instead you hit her shoulder. Still taking a pretty sizable hit. This creature is tough as you hit it, but you're able to push through the outer hide into the smaller form beneath. Anything else for you, Ball?
Yeah, I guess I can't. And then I don't know what happens if, in terms of me being a giant ball of flame, if I start to burn up the bushes around me.
The bushes and roots are beginning to catch fire. They're still holding her in place, but as the flames begin to roll on, you would imagine fire would do its thing.
Okay, and then I'll end my turn.
Okay, so Ezekiel, you are kind of prone, lying back there, and you can see the burning, flaming giant that is Ball smashing down upon, presumably where the creature is.
Okay. Since unexpectedly everyone ran towards it instead of away, I'm going to keep... I can only get to, like, there, but I'll stand up this time. I'll dodge action and be done with it.
Okay, so kind of ducking down, preparing to dodge beneath the bushes. That'll bring us up to her. She's in a bit of a pickle. She got cocky. She's going to try to use her action one more time to break out. That is a 9. No, see, she struggles to try and break off, but is unable to do so. And she is going to try to dodge as best she can, but that's all she can do. We'll bring us up to Vesper.
Okay. I'm going to use my movement to run up here. Since she's entangled, I'm going to cast Sacred Flame on her. So it's a dex save, which is Spanish on. Okay. She's still probably going to get it because she's crazy.
19.
Fucking yeah.
So sure, her leg and arm are still kind of holding her in one spot. She's able to shift the rest of her body around as the Sacred Flame burns down.
I'm going to slowly start moving my bow up, because I should have been doing that the whole time, and I didn't.
Okay. And that will bring us up to Meli.
Okay. I'm going to shuffle a little bit closer. And then I'm going to shoot her.
Okay. Yeah, the advantage. She is currently restrained by the roots and vines grappling her as the flames slowly are burning away at them.
I got 13.
13 will miss. The frost drives over, but she's able to duck and dodge as best she can under it.
Okay.
And Kalvyn.
Alright, I'm gonna run forward 30 feet to try to get closer, and I will throw one of my javelins at it.
Okay. You have advantage.
I have disadvantage. I'm out. It's out of the 30 feet regular range, so it's
straight roll.
just a straight roll. Okay, so it's a dirty 20.
That'll hit.
Oh, yeah. Oh, it's just a d6. Oh, I rolled a 6, though, so it's 10 piercing.
Okay. So 10 piercing drives into the creature as you hear kind of a small kind of whimper coming from it. Anything else for you, Kalvyn?
No, that's it.
Ellory.
So I'm going to run up right next to this little illusion of me and note that it is very satisfyingly slightly shorter than I am. And I'm going to go ahead and, because I have a pretty clear shot at this angle, I think, I'm going to do Scorching Ray one more time.
Okay, you have advantage on these attacks.
Okay. First one is 25.
Hits.
Second is a natural 20.
Hits.
And the third is a 23.
All 3 hit. So
All right.
these flaming rays strike down at the creature, bursting at Bull's feet.
And then one of those rays is double dice. So that is all the d6s that I have out right now. 23, 24.
Okay, so the struggling creature being slammed by these flaming rays, you can see it goes from being frustrated being called to a tinge of panic. The ball you can see in its eyes. Anything else for you, Ellory?
I think that will be it.
Okay, that will bring us up to Amsen.
Okay, so let's hope this works. I'm gonna run
Sorry, I missed one of the d6s. So that's another 2 points.
Okay.
So I'm gonna run up. I'm gonna say kind of just behind this bush up ahead, kind of behind Kalvyn. And I can see it. And hopefully this works, because if it classifies as a humanoid, it needs to make a wisdom saving throw or be paralyzed as I cast Hold Person.
That's a 9.
fails.
As the struggling creature is pulling against the ropes and suddenly...
So, just because it's fun, I'm gonna rub it in her face. I'm gonna sing, "You are paralyzed, you seem to be struck by ball, ba ba da 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 da," etc.
And as you sing this uptown beat, it suddenly stops moving, frozen. As Ball, you see the struggling creature struggling no more, frozen beneath your feet.
All right. So bonus action, I am going to cast Searing Smite at level 2. It's just a concentration spell that triggers when I hit it. And then with my attack, I'm going to use the cantrip Phoenix Blade and attack with advantage. 22.
That hits.
To hit?
And
Okay.
it is a crit because it's within 5 feet and she is paralyzed and restrained.
A lot of damage is about to happen.
Okay.
So I'm just going to write this down real quick because I'm going to fuck it up. Pardon my French.
As the Ball raises the silvered steel greatsword above his head.
Like, prep the smash with an extra smite. Like, Ball's gonna hurt.
And I do bonus damage whenever I roll fire because of the mantle of flame, so it's going to be ugly. There's a lot of things I have to roll right now, so...
This is exciting. Oh, shit.
Double dice crit is amazing, man.
Yeah. Smite crits are amazing. Paralyzed, restrained. I was expecting a pretty bad outcome. I was like, oh, let's see, they'll come up with something.
I'm going to roll Phoenix Blade
She done
twice.
fucked up.
So I'm just going to roll this twice.
She got cocky as hell.
Okay, I think that's all the stuff. So I'm going to actually roll it now. So that's...
Okay.
So it's already taken 10 fire from the Phoenix Blade.
Yeah.
And then it's 27 radiant.
Okay.
22 slashing. And an extra 13 fire.
Okay. So this creature went from wounded but still pretty hardy. As Ball, you lift up your silver greatsword. The flame, this mantle that is enveloping you, kind of tornado spirals up. And as you reach the apex, the pinnacle of the strike, and begin to come down, a radiant light begins to stride its way from your holy symbol, climbing its way up the greatsword. The flames going from orangish yellow to burning white as you come down. The sword slams into its shoulder, digs in, burning pieces of root and vine go flying as you strike in. The energy burst, almost temporarily blinding you for a moment. As you withdraw, you see the creature is breathing with a huge gash in his left arm. It looks like his left arm is no longer moving. There is a bow on the ground now. As you see, it's alive, but just barely. Is that your turn, Ball?
And then I will move 10 feet to the left. And that's where I'll end my turn.
Ezekiel.
Alright. Seeing how she's held and that explosion of fire probably did away with whatever remaining vines were on her, I'm going to drop Entangle, and I want to see what this thing really looks like before we kill it, and I will bring up another Moonbeam with my last second level spell slot. So I'll draw the circle, but that'll take effect on its turn.
Okay, so around her, the silvery moonlight.
And then I'll awkwardly stumble through the bushes, and I think I can get there.
Okay. Brings up to her at the end of... She needs to make a con save to not burn anymore.
At the start of her turn.
With disadvantage, because it's a shape changer.
She rolled a 1 on the con save about burning from Ball. So she fails that.
Okay.
Disadvantage on the moonbeam. So instead of a 17, that is a 13. And is that a con save?
Con.
I don't think that's going to... Yeah, 14.
Oh, just fails. So 2d and reverts back to its original form.
And she also it also takes 6 fire damage from burning.
And 13 radiant.
Okay. There's no need to roll the wisdom save at the end of her turn because she doesn't make it. How do Ball and Ezekiel, how do you guys want to do this together?
I think it's seeing this explosion of fire and then her still burning. I'll just raise my staff up and give a nod to Ball as like both radiant and flame consume her, and just as I imagine it'll turn back to its original form just before it turns to ash, hopefully. Maybe there's still a body that we can prove this with.
Yeah, it's like maybe, like what I picture is like, because when you do that thing, it loses its form. So maybe instead of its form just like magically changing, it's more that it gets burned off by the radiant and fire damage.
Ooh, I like
and
that.
It burns, like the shape changing burns off, revealing whatever form underneath.
Okay, yeah, so that's what happens as the burn, the wound from Ball your strike. You can see down into her, past her clavicle, into her chest. Her left arm completely limp, unable to move whatsoever, even though the rest of her body is frozen. The wound is still burning, and as it does, you can kind of see her slumping over as the radiant light burns down, burning off the dark amber fur on her shoulders, burning off the patches on her chest, burning off the hair on her face, her structure, bone structure shifting, the ears going from high and tall to shifting back. Her form almost gets an inch or two shorter as you see a halfling forming. The red mane hair remains, though. Burns away from an animalistic mane into a curly, wild, red-haired halfling. It kind of slumps down, leaning over her stomach and shoulders with the mark, wearing a necklace dangling with the mark of Duma upon it. You can see from the wounds on her shoulder and the rest of the wounds, there's just a faint bit of purple energy that is burning off from it.
I thought something so powerful would get bigger.
Oh.
Holy shit.
Fuck. Paul, you might want to back up in case that one explodes too. I'll keep the moonbeam on, hoping that it maybe stops some of the energy.
I will. I'll turn off my mantle and maybe I'll ask Meli if she has something that can put out some of the fire, and I'll step away from things that I might engulf in flame.
I'm afraid I don't have anything that could put out the fire. Anything I have would probably just make it worse.
Okay, so as Ball moves away, he tries to stomp out any bushes that are catching fire.
With your still flaming foot?
Well, I'm gonna check if I can, can I turn mantle off with, a bonus action or something?
I'll say, yeah, you probably are able to. We'll look it up later. Okay. But yeah, you begin to kind of stomp out the fire as best you can, trying to, as you all get some distance from this creature, as you see the almost purple energy smoke glowing slightly begins to radiate off of her shoulders and her wounds. They get brighter and brighter to where the energy seems to coalesce, and you see it suddenly, instead of just rising into the air, it suddenly stops and it shifts towards the ground. Those of you close enough to it can see this purplish energy going towards the bow that now lies at her feet. As the energy radiates from her wounds, this purple energy goes into the bow glows brightly, this dark purplish color, before going dim once more.
Can I approach that and do a divine sense?
Doing a divine sense? You don't sense anything in particular coming off of it.
I'd like to use control flames to try and put out some of the bits of fire. I can do, 5 feet at a time.
Okay, so you slowly kind of pull the flames from the bushes and branches and roots and just coalesce it into a place in the dirt where it's not going to catch anything else on fire.
I want to go over to the body and just take a look at her. And I think Vesper just kind of has a moment of wondering who she was and what led her down this path of evil. And then I'm going to loot her and try to shoot daggers.
Okay. So you see, all of you see as you kind of get closer, she is a halfling, and she looks like she's old. She's an old woman, maybe 80s, 90s. It's hard to really tell, but she's an old halfling with red hair. You can obviously see the bow at her feet. There's still, every now and then, a bit of a pulse of purple energy that runs along its length. The bow kind of curves back and then recurves back forward again with a string upon it. Looking around, on her back, there is a cloak of white fur. And you see around a belt around her, you see a sharpened bow.
I want to take that And the cloak. I'll just bundle the cloak up then.
Were the people at the keep, did I see any similar cloaks?
Looking at this one, yeah. Ezekiel, as you get closer, you see as the similar kind of wolf head hood that comes over the back. The inside is this kind of black satin material, and you see it does look very similar.
I think I might know someone who may want that.
I'll pass him the cloak, and I want to take a look at the bone.
Okay. So go ahead and roll. What are you looking for?
It looks like a weapon, like a dagger or something.
Yeah, it looks like a sharpened, like, shiv almost.
I'd like to, just quickly, I'm just going to grab some cloth or something and then grab the bow and wrap it up in that and then take it off.
And Ezekiel, where are you?
I would be kneeling down beside. I am staying away from the bow for now. Is there any energy on our holy symbol?
No longer.
Alright, then I'm just going to unceremoniously rip that off her neck and stick it in my pouch for now.
Okay. You do so, Amsen, you wrap it in cloth.
While everyone is, like, huddled around this body, so he's gonna go to where the other wolves are, and then I guess, whenever I have a moment, I'd like to do something.
Yeah, you come back and you see where the werewolves are. There's the one place where the werebear turned into nothing but ash. Nothing remains of his form. The other ones have reverted to their human forms. You see one's a little older, one's younger.
What does Aine, or how does Aine feel about, I guess, like, lichens?
Give me a religion check. You can also take 10 if you want to. Just going to take a few minutes and mull it over.
I still don't think I'll do that well. I take 10. I only get a +2. I think I'll just roll.
Okay.
For a 20?
With a 20? Maybe overhearing it from Vesper, or hearing it in the stone abbey, or maybe overhearing it from Ezekiel while you're moving and walking. At some point you've heard that were creatures, lycanthropes, are associated with Duma, the goddess of curses, and the lycanthropy were creatures are afflicted with a curse. Though not in as direct opposition as Aine is to Seether, Lord Seether, she is obviously against this sort of curse.
Okay, so with that in mind, what I'd like to do is I want to, while they're, I guess, picking apart the head honcho, Ball wants to loot anything that looks important on these ones, and then kind of start piling them up in an open space where he can cast Ignite to set them ablaze.
Yeah.
And if I see him piling up the bodies, I'm going to go over and help.
Okay, so y'all kind of help. I mean, there's a spear on them. There's a dagger on the other, but they don't really have much of anything as you pile them and begin the burning process.
Okay, so yeah, that's what I'll do.
I wonder who these people were, if they were just hunters who got out here and got bitten, or if they wanted to be part of this.
I wouldn't imagine. I mean, most who transform are probably just prey that impressed enough, surviving the attack. Duma is a curse. It spreads. That's why I wanted to make sure we ended this. Thank you all for coming here. I know that got a little hairy for a second, but
literally and figuratively.
Precisely. Did anybody get bit? How are you feeling? Any sweat or...
I reach up and touch the bite on my shoulder. I don't know, I mean, I'm hurt, but...
Just in case. Anybody that was bit, I want to use, I don't know, it's not technically a disease, it's a curse, but just disinfect all of them with a cure disease from lay on hands. I could do up to 3 people. Or 2. No, yeah, only 2. I only have 10 points. So I'll do Ellory's, and I think Kalvyn also got hit, though. He's holy in his own right.
Okay. So you clear any disease as best as you can, disinfecting it with divine energy.
Do you know if there are any signs we should be looking out for?
Do I know if there are any signs we should be looking out for?
That is a intelligence check.
4.
I mean, just the things from stories, fur in weird places, aggressiveness, but nothing particular.
I'm not sure, but perhaps it might not be a bad idea just check with
No offense, Vesper. A cleric more experienced in these matters, surely somebody around here has treated these kinds of wounds before, if this creature's been roaming these woods.
That's fair. I don't know much about lycanthropy.
I'd like to take the bow to Meli and see what she thinks about it. So, Meli, I don't know if you saw that, but some sort of purple energy when the creature thing died, went from her into the bow, and have any thoughts on that?
Do you want me to identify it? Or just, do you want to know general theory?
Well, identifying this bow would be absolutely wonderful, if you happen to have the ability to do that currently.
Yeah, I always have identified, because it's a big thing with you guys. I'll identify the bow.
Just be careful when you touch it. It is likely.
Don't touch it.
I think I have to.
Can you use gloves or something?
Would that work? Can I still use it if I have gloves?
You can use gloves. You don't know if it's going to help or not.
I'll hold out the bow for her, keeping the cloth between my hands and it, just in case.
Okay. I'll touch it and cast Identify.
Okay. So as you cast the spell, zoning in on the arcane lattice that forms the energy and the structure around this bow, you feel something push against you. Begin to try to push you out. Make a straight wisdom check.
Having an argument with a bow. 14?
You begin to sense that this bow is powerful. You sense that just from the reverberating energy of its lattice. And as you begin to push in further to see what lies beyond it, a force of shadow forces you out and kicks you out. The spell fails as you are released. You know it's magical. There is some sort of effect to it, and there is an entity within it.
There's something in here, and it does not want me to cry.
Okay, then. I take the cloth, wrap the bow in it, and I apologize for that. I didn't realize how dangerous this was. You should probably take this to one of the clerics of Severa, possibly. They might know something about this kind of thing.
I'd be a little more comfortable if we took it to my order. They're far, but, they might know something, but I know some people very experienced with fighting Duma. They may not be happy to see me, but it's vaguely on our way.
If it's far, would it be safe traveling with it?
Keep it wrapped up.
I mean, we're already traveling with that creepy skull. We might as well, at this point. Maybe the curses will cancel each other out.
I don't know about Severa. The people there are not the most friendly in the world. But what do you think about taking it to the Temple of Valisol or Ayin?
Possibly. We could try that.
Valisol is about weapons.
Valisol's all about light, too.
Well, personally, I feel like we should destroy it, but I don't know how to do that.
That's my problem, too.
Yeah.
I intend to see it destroyed.
My question is, though, Meli says that there's something inside it, something that doesn't want to be seen. If we destroy the bow, will whatever's inside it escape?
I could try identifying it again.
No, I don't think that is such a good idea.
You just got back, Meli. We're not going to risk your life and sanity for our own curiosity.
Besides the fact that we wouldn't want to lose you, your parents would kill us.
Yeah.
Your father...
I agree that we should take it to temple.
Your father would hire mercenaries to come after us and kill us.
He doesn't know I'm with you guys, though.
Oh, even better.
He would suspect
He'll find out.
He would figure it out.
I agree we should take it to one of the temples.
Okay. Whichever one of you two thinks that might have more experience with cursed objects. Which temple seemed bigger?
It's not the size that matters.
It's really not.
But the people going from out of town with something dark and terrible will go to the biggest temple in town.
I'd say probably Valisol, because But for me personally, I know that Aine doesn't particularly enjoy dark and terrible things, but it seems like Valisol is more of a deity to directly oppose any part of it. So, I think that
maybe one of the priests at the Temple of Aine would come over to the Temple of Valisol.
That's true, we could have both.
We could get multiple people working on it.
Well, let's do that.
Of one.
Yeah.
It's still fairly early in the day, so why don't we go do that? Head back to town?
Are we going to take the body back with us?
I think we should.
Yeah.
I think we should burn it, but
we can burn it after
my satisfaction.
After we prove that we killed it.
Yeah.
I don't know what this body proves. The bow is probably your best bet.
Fair enough. Oh,
she was part of the keep. Maybe someone there knows her.
That's what I was thinking. I was going to take the cloak. They might be able to identify it from that.
Maybe.
Is there a name sewn into it?
I was about to say, as you're holding it, you do feel a stitching on the inside. Folding it over as you have this conversation, you read the words, White Wolf, Ilara Soul, Wolfrath.
Wolfrath?
You all know that name.
I definitely think we should take the body back.
Yeah.
Probably. Yeah, that's probably a good idea.
I mean, isn't there a temple to the god Wolfrath here?
Yep.
Yeah. And the royal family is the Wolfrath descendants.
And I believe the head of the White
She's a halfling, and the family is human, isn't it?
Oh,
It's a
my
human
family
city.
is human.
It's a human city.
Well, they probably know more.
And you were going to say, Ezekiel, about the White Wolves.
I believe someone over there also is in the Wolfrath family. I think I talked to him.
Yes. Mav Wolfrath, forebear.
So we have plenty of options to figure out, but I'd agree now, yeah, we should probably take back the body.
So, temples first, or should we go to the keep?
Let's go to the keep and get rid of the corpse before we just carry some items into town.
Yeah, maybe we can circle around town. They're on the east side, but let's not bring a body through town that is possibly a lost royal.
Yeah, especially since we're strangers here.
And Ball.
Yeah.
So I shouldn't carry the body.
We'll just not go through town. Let's go to the keep first.
And even so, maybe Ball shouldn't be the one carrying her.
I got it.
What about the other bodies?
They've been taken care of.
Ball's already taken care of that.
Well, poop.
And you look over and you still see them burning. I don't know how long it takes to burn a humanoid body. I don't have much experience with that.
Whatever family they might have probably has already figured out that they're not coming back, and it's not going to do them any good to know what they became.
I disagree. Knowing is better than speculation, but it has been decided.
Yeah, it's a little late to try and... I mean, do they have any rings?
I mean, I'm a great healer, but I'm not that good.
We got a good look at one of the guys' junk, so maybe, like their family member recognizes the junk.
Yeah, just draw it out for them. Be like, hey, does this junk look familiar to you?
Maybe that one person is particularly has a unique package.
All right. So as you, with magical fire, you take the next hour or so to fully burn them down. If you want to stop earlier, you can leave, what's left, scarred and burnt. But you do so, taking what items you find as best you find them. With Ezekiel holding the body, Amsen holding the bow, Vesper holding the dagger, and Ezekiel also holding the cloak?
Yeah, I'd
Okay.
stuff that in my bag.
Okay. And you'll begin to walk around.
As we walk, I'm just leaning on whoever's handy, because I'm still in pretty bad shape.
Oh, then forget what I was going to say. As we walk, I'm going to patch up Ellory. I'm going to use a healer's kit, so you will get, that's hot garbage, but you will get 11 hit points back.
That's almost twice of what I was.
Great.
So thank you.
So you guys take the next couple hours traveling
Can I look over the bone dagger as we're going? I want to see if it has any markings or carvings in it, or if it's just a piece of bone.
It's very simple. It looks like a piece of bone that's just been whittled down to be sharp.
Okay.
Ivory, sun-stained bone. It's sharp.
I'll put it into one of my sleeves of one of the other daggers.
As you continue along, the next hour or so, getting back to where the bridge is, where there is a stone sort of tower with the guards falling. Ezekiel, are you hiding the body or just slumped over your shoulder?
I have my own cloak that I'd probably put on top of it, because I'm not a moron. I'm just not smart. So I'll cover it. I don't want to be super open that I'm carrying what looks like either a small child or a very frail old lady, depending on how close you are.
Okay. So as you kind of begin to walk down the side of the river, and you see the bridge in the distance, covering up the body with the cloak. You guys have a couple hours of walking if you guys want to deal with anything else, but otherwise you'll reach in a few hours.
So I can't help Kalvyn out again the way I did with the healer's kit. Does anyone else that I haven't helped yet need it?
I could take it if you can.
I can. Oh, that was a good roll.
Okay. And so unless there's anything else, you guys continue, eventually making your way down towards where the bridge is and the stone tower, turning to begin to head across it. George, give me a stealth check, I guess. I'll say stealth or performance if you're going to pretend to be a cripple.
I will at least try performance. I can take the same number. It's not going to be good. I rolled a 3, so it's either a 2 or a 5.
Okay. So as you're kind of walking along this small halfling over your shoulder, you see a guard kind of, one of the hounds move to intercept you just to investigate as you're entering the city. You see, looking around Amsen towards the front, towards where Ezekiel is, looking down, squinting his eyes, as those of you that are walking nearby can see the dripping of fluid from Ezekiel's shoulder. You've got a wound? As the guard kind of steps forward, hand on the hilt. You can see movement on the top of the towers as well.
Several, actually. I don't want to alarm you, but there is a body on my shoulder.
You hear crossbows draw on top of the towers.
Have you heard of the Bane-lynx? I know, legends, they say. But I kind of just, turn over the side where I got bear clawed. That's halfway healed from Vesper. We ran into it. Turns out it's a were creature, so now it looks like an old lady.
He's stunned for a moment. Make a persuasion check.
I'm going to... I would like
if we all nod along, if we're all, right?
Yeah, if we're all actually, he's telling the truth.
Guys, I'm actually okay at that, too. So, 16, 17 if I have advantage.
Yeah, actually, you can't just nod. You have to say something. But 16, he kind of looks at these wounds. He may have run into something. As he kind of looks at the wounds. And what is this? He doesn't get too close. And he's pointing at the halfling under your shoulder.
The body. I believe the White Wolves would like to see it.
The body of what? Your comrade?
No, the Bane-lynx.
Bullshit. Let me see.
Okay, come on over.
I'll
put it down.
I'll walk up to the guard and unwrap the bow that I have in cloth. And I was going to say earlier that I took a few of the arrows that she was shooting at us as well and wrapped that up with the bow as well. So I have a couple of arrows of the, those whatever arrows they look like and that bow.
Okay. So you present those. And Ezekiel, do you drop the body?
Yeah. Sort of unceremoniously too, just let it fall off my shoulders.
Okay, so this old, extremely cut up and wounded halfling with red hair falls to the ground. At this point, another hound or two kind of approach, providing backup to this first one. He puts his hand up, just take a couple steps back. If you do so, he approaches to look at the body. The other two kind of have their hands on the hilts, ready, as he kind of looks over the form, turning it over. He looks up at you all. Where'd you find her?
Actually, she found us out in the woods. And I'll give him basically where we had that fight.
Cinderella. Now. And one of the hounds that came to support him, a younger one, kind of nods, turns to take a couple steps away, then stops, turns around. Where? Get the Duke. Right. And the kid runs off to an area behind that first tower, and a couple moments later is riding up on a horse, clumpering over the bridge and into the city.
We have her cloak as well.
Let me see it.
I'll take it out.
Okay. At this point, he's loosened up. The other two haven't, or the other one remaining haven't. And the ones with the crossbows haven't loosened up, but he has. As he approaches, takes the cloth, immediately turns to the inside and looks at it. Takes it, folds it up. You'll have to come with me. He turns to the other hound. Lift her. Going to the Ivy Reach to warn about. The other hound goes to the halfling, the old one, picks her up gently, and begins to carry her, as the other one kind of throws the cloak over her shoulder and begins to step towards into the city. Come with us. He looks to see if you're going to follow, or kind of reading your faces if you're rebelling or going to come with them.
Vesper steps forward, kind of looking at the others like, we're going to go, right?
Yeah, Amsen will go.
Yeah.
Okay. So you begin this parade following these two hounds, one carrying this old red-headed halfling, the other carrying her cloak of white. As they y'all cross over the bridge into the outer sink, beginning to enter the city proper and head north, climbing the ascent towards the top, towards Fort Woldengrad. And along the way, as you do, you notice people kind of nudging each other, pointing, speaking over their shoulder. You see word begins to travel. You notice a few more hounds take up behind you. You notice a hound riding a direwolf kind of begins to ride, speaking to the sort of captain hound carrying the cloak before he too begins to lead. Another one comes from behind. And by the time you're passing where the temples are, you have several hounds and several people kind of following your group.
As the hounds follow us, I'm going to look to Ellory and see how she's holding up. I don't want to see if she's getting nervous or anything.
I don't like all this attention, so I kind of shift into the middle of the group, just so that I'm as obscured as possible from people staring at us.
I'll give her shoulder a squeeze.
Hopefully they're not like the people back home.
I don't think they are.
You notice more bunching up, kind of closer to Ball, as this giant 10-foot tall through the city. You come to the Arc of Temples, and in the center you see the temple to Wolfrath. It looks less like a temple and more like a fortress. In the center is the portcullis that is raised as you're marched through from the primary city into the Ivy Reach district. As you come in here, you're flanked by more hounds. You see this time they're no longer wearing just the black bands, a few red stripes. You see they're now wearing red bands. They have cloaks on their backs of red with black crosses on them. You notice there are more direwolves, some being rode, some walking alongside. As you head through this temple fortress and into this Ivy Reach district, you see there are bigger houses, manors. This is the area where the elite live. There's a very tall tower that stands higher than the rest of the guard towers as you make your way through the city, heading towards what looks like a fortress.
I'll kind of nudge Amsen. I think they'll let us into the library now.
I was hoping with Meli here, actually, but possibly, yes.
As you make your way to the fortress, there's another portcullis that is cranked up. You see along the ramparts and in this area, there are guards with those red cloaks that appear to be veterans or royal guards in some way. As you're ushered in, Many of the guards are stopped, and many of the people are stopped as you enter the Ivy Ridge district. Many of even the guards are stopped before you enter into this fort. But still, there are plenty to make up the difference. As you enter in this fortress courtyard, and the doors are open for you to enter into what looks like a throne room. And as you walk through these halls, you see there are columns on each side. Each column has the banner of Wolfwrath, the red banner with the black wolf, and each head is facing forward towards the throne. You see it's risen, and as you get closer, you see to the left, sitting down away from the throne, but still in an important position, you see an old man, grayed white hair, in a military press suit. You see he has an eye patch and a nasty scar over one eye, a blade at his side. You see to the right, to his right, you see another individual wearing plate mail of red dragon scale. You see on that scale, you see numerous medals made of scales and other metals, highly decorated. Looks like a general. On the other side of the throne, you see, and Ezekiel, you recognize this person as King Mav Wolfwrath, this massive man about Kalvyn's height, in full dark plate, and big bushy beard. His helmet is currently off in a huge maul on his back. And then seated down on the throne, you see a woman. She looks like she's in her mid-40s maybe. She has blonde hair, piercing blue eyes, and she's wearing armor. White dragon scale armor, and upon her side, you see a greatsword. As you enter, you're stopped. As the throned woman rises, she takes a step down to your level, greatsword at her side. The body is kind of placed near her. She looks at it and nods before the body is moved over to the man with the scarred eye, who immediately wraps his arms around her, embracing her in a hug. The blonde woman, the queen, looks back to you. I am Queen Isabella, war child Wolfwrath. What are you doing with my cousin? And that's where we're going to hold off for tonight and pick back up next week.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Back to the Story. For notifications when an episode goes live, you can find us on Stitcher, Google Play, Player FM, or TuneIn. Download the app and subscribe or favorite us there. If you'd like to contact us, you can tweet us at @back2_the_story. If you can't fit it into 280 characters, you can email us at thebonfirefables@gmail.com. And if you'd like further information about the campaign, the player characters, NPCs, or behind-the-scenes sneak peeks, follow us on either Twitter or on our Tumblr website. Lastly, if you'd like to support the show, feel free to buy us a coffee at ko-fi.com/backtothestory.